It all started about 3 weeks or so ago. The frequencies that the TTAs in the area had been blasting at high pressure were mostly low and mid-range frequencies.
This is Rev Michelle Hopkins.
Up until that point, but they were often the same. On that day, about 3 weeks ago, the frequencies changed. I no longer could feel infrasound, this low shaking of my body. I felt a mid-range and higher sounds, possibly ultrasound, possibly microwave. And believe it or not, some of the frequencies were actually audible. I had visitors and they could hear them as well. I began to feel an increasing extreme pain in my head. It was all over my head. It felt like it was between my skull and my brain. And I could feel things reverberating in my head. It hurt so bad, and I was supposed to be on a radio show that night. So we were praying that I would be well enough to do it, but really and truly, we were considering whether or not to take me to the hospital. The pain was so terrible. My sinuses, the pressure in my sinuses became so bad. My ear began to hurt terribly. The back of my head hurt so bad, I just felt like it was going to explode. And I became very ill. And ever since then, there has been an escalation, one by one, of more symptoms coming on. I'm feeling strange pains in weird places in my body that I've never felt pains in before. And these different frequencies happening, it's like they're experimenting with different frequencies. I can feel them in my brain, I can feel them in my body, reverberating through my body because of the MJD that I have. As time went on, my sinuses became worse and worse, and even lavage was not helping. It would help for one day, and I would have release from it from one day, and the next day it would begin the process all over again. But it wasn't an illness like a normal illness. It felt mechanical. It still feels mechanical. Now our whole town is sick. Not just our whole town, our whole area is sick. My aide is sick. Her fiance, he was in ICU for days. They just took him out of ICU. He's sick with this. Her granddaughter, who is just a toddler, is in the hospital with this. And they're saying it's this H1N1 flu, but nobody is really doing the test to find out. When I asked her, why are you going so far away to the hospital? Why did he have to be taken, your fiance, to a hospital in another place so far away? And she said, because all of the beds in these hospitals are full. People are sick with this and there are no beds available. We had to go to a different city for him to be cared for. This H1N1 thing has hit our area. Now, I've been warning everyone that this was going to happen because these nanoparticles are real. These desiccated human red blood cells that they have been aerosoling all over the United States and other places are real. And all it takes is the right frequency for them to be activated. These frequencies changed, and this epidemic began to hit. We were told a pseudo lie, sandwiched between numerous truths. Many of them are exactly the kind of medical nanoparticles that Dr. Weld described. The only difference is they are not as large as a grain of sand. They are microcellular. So you can't see them with the naked eye. You might even have to have a special microscope to see them.
Now, the nanites that he's talking about are made for one simple purpose, and they are to burrow into the bloodstream, gain entrance to the brain and other areas of the body in order to attach themselves to that tissue and lay in wait for classified military frequency signal to give them their working orders, at which time they manipulate the brain and other areas of the body to send signals to those other areas of the body to affect what is called a cytokine storm. It's a sort of immune system feedback loop that is like your immune system on steroids. They cause the body's immune system to turn against itself and mimic virulent flu-like symptoms that develop into upper respiratory infection, fluid in the lungs, pneumonia, and eventually death. My attitude toward that has always been, I don't care if Bill Wells was the worst charlatan in the world and he was either set up to do this, to hoax it, or came up with it himself to hoax it, because I have confirmation this is real. And if the government wanted it hoaxed, it's because they wanted people not to believe it when it came down to it. When the evidence was right there in front of them, they wouldn't believe it because it had been debunked.
And here it is. These frequencies changed, and this epidemic began to hit. And I've proven these things exist, and they are in play right now. It's not a national quell. It's a CDC attempt at a pandemic. It's not their first attempt. It's their second legitimate attempt. The first one started with China. The CDC was accused by China. America was accused by China of aerosoling H1N1 virus in China. The CDC, the Center for Disease Control. Let's look at that name for a minute. It is the center, it's those people that have control over disease. It's not the Center for Disease Eradication. It's not the Center for Diseases Cures. No, it's the Center for Disease Control. The CDC is saying, we're the ones who have the diseases, we're the ones who grow the diseases, we're the ones that control the diseases. Whether the diseases get out, whether the diseases have treatment, we're the ones that control that. They are the Center for Disease Control. And because these many people are coming down with this pseudo disease, this mechanical disease, it's not a normal natural disease. I am declaring this pseudo mechanical disease right now to be the CDC-PA2, the conspirators for depopulation control pandemic attempt number 2. This pseudo-flu has reached epidemic proportions in the United States and in Canada. In the southern states, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas have been hit the hardest so far. We're getting reports from Michigan, California, Virginia, and Wisconsin, among others, and out west in Alberta. There are 965 lab-confirmed cases of H1N1. 270 of those patients have been hospitalized. As of January 2nd, 5 people have died from the flu in Alberta. Many are being inoculated, vaccinated, and suffering the consequences. Some of them are suffering terrible, debilitating neurological illnesses, narcolepsy, many, many other life-changing, catastrophic issues in their health and well-being because of these adjuvants and nanoparticles in these vaccines.
Of an amazingly beautiful young woman. She was training to be a pro football cheerleader, and she got a flu shot. She says that shot has destroyed her chances of happiness. We told you about her story last time. Now Les Trent is with this woman for a first-hand look at what her life has become.
Right. She's the beautiful cheerleader whose heartbreaking story is shocking the nation. 25-year-old Desiree Jennings showed me how she can't walk without twisting, jerky movements. But she walks backwards normally. Doctors say she has a rare 1 in a million neurological disorder that was triggered 10 days after she got a seasonal flu shot.
Started with me not being able to eat without passing out.
You couldn't eat without passing out?
I visited Desiree and her husband Brendan at their home in Ashburn, Virginia, to see what their daily life is like. She has to go up and down stairs backwards because something as simple as walking forward can be dangerous.
And here's the unusual part about the disorder. Take a look at this. Desiree can run just fine. It's only when she stops. You see, that's where the spasms start. Now you can walk backwards though, and it'll make it better, right?
Yeah.
She runs with a normal stride, and as I ran with her, she even spoke normally.
And now you can talk.
Yeah, it's weird. It fixes as soon as I start running.
I mean, you sound.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
You sound amazing. Oops. And then you stop, and that's what happens.
Desiree got a flu shot on August 23rd. 10 days later, she came down with what doctors have diagnosed as dystonia, a rare neurological disorder. Her jerking and twisting are the result of uncontrollable muscle contractions. There is no known cure.
Are y'all ready?
Yes.
This is home video of Desiree as a beautiful bride when she married Brendan 2 years ago. And this is a photo when she was training to be a cheerleader for the Washington Redskins. Doctors say what happened to Desiree should discourage people from getting flu shots.
We talked about these smart nanites that are in vaccines. And interestingly enough, the CDC and FEMA, they're proud about that. They're proud that these vaccines include these nanites. Now, what they do is they create that cytokine cascade in your immune system. They cause your immune system to go turn in on your body and attack your body. It's like your immune system on steroids. There's no stopping it. And right now, the CDC and FEMA are saying that we are going to probably have a pandemic of H1N1, I believe they said it was. They have ordered 600 million vaccines. They're cutting the original H1N1 vaccine that they've made for this and adding adjuvants, which cause the same thing that these nanites cause. They cause your immune system to turn in on your body and go nuts, just go crazy. They want every man, woman, and child to have 2 of these vaccines, claiming that if we don't, there's going to be this pandemic. These nanites are in these vaccines.
There we go. Go in for your flu shot. Get your own nanite at the same time.
Now I am here to declare the conspirators for depopulation control pandemic attempt number 2. You may make us ill for a time, and you may kill off some of us, but you're going to be sorely disappointed by the numbers being sadly few. We refuse to be human sacrifices to your God. This is Rev Michelle Hopkins. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.